Good evening, afternoon, morning, depending on your time zone. I'm Braden. Welcome to another episode of Sawdust Talk. We're going to get everybody in. We've got a cool host. We've got some cool hosts. We've got a cool guest for you guys tonight. And yeah, let's get started. Let's see if I can do this without breaking it again. All right. As we're getting everybody loaded in, I want to throw a special thanks to our sponsors, George Supply Co. and now Surf Prep. They're awesome. They're great supporters of the community, so we love having them around to help us out and make sure that we can do this every week for you guys. The real question is, where is everybody?
There he is.
What's up?
What's up, my guy?
Man, I feel like it's been ages since I've been on here.
I think you were one of the co-hosts, like the second episode I was on, and then you've just been a fake person that messages me since then. So,
Like, who is this guy really?
Todd said he's going to be running a couple minutes late. He had to do the whole thing from Happy Gilmore with his kid. You will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
Or I will put you to sleep. Shampoo is better.
But let's get Brandon in here.
Everybody like my water bottle? There he is.
How's it going, y'all?
What up?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sweet.
And I have a unofficial festival.
You
nice.
made it. You made it a Festool mug. Got it.
Have you seen their pizza cutter?
I have the pizza cutter.
Oh,
that was when I wasn't full-time woodworking, discretionary spending type money. So now I don't get pizza cutters. I got that one.
You only need one though.
I got that one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Your bottle matches my eyes. Oh, why? Thank you, Dylan. That's funny.
Brandon, I had the most fun making the promo stuff for this episode.
I'm glad, man.
Not one sprawling on top of stuff photo, but two. That was a real treat.
You got to get people interested, man.
Got to get the people going. It's provocative.
I like the intricately placed logo too on the second one.
Nice. Yeah, that was nicely placed.
We got to keep it family friendly.
That's right.
You know, now we're in the 9 p.m. time slot, so got to keep it prime time.
Kids might be awake now.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I guess we can get started, and we'll just have TJ jump in when he is done putting his kid to sleep. But my name is Braden. I'm with Little Bug Woodworking. I'm based out of Omaha, Nebraska, and I do a little bit of everything. I do some CNC work. I've got a whole pile of stuff over there. I just make it all up as I go. So,
Nice.
Ed, I'll kick it over to you.
I'm Ed Mancini from Mancini Woodworking, based out of Louisville, Kentucky, and I pretend to do stuff, I guess. I have a shop. It's mostly for show, but I do CNC, I do furniture, I do stuff. I do stuff in my garage. That's about it.
Nice.
Brandon, how about you, brother?
So here recently, I've been doing a lot of trim stuff and just remodel work, but I also build furniture. I have a CNC, but it's kind of just more so a thing to collect other things on top of, and then custom furniture and cutting boards, really.
Nice. And we're going to dive into that because there's a whole lot that goes around that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot that goes around that. Did TJ say about what time he was going to pop on?
He said 2 or 3 minutes, so
Okay.
we'll just roll.
Hey, so real quick, for anybody watching, don't forget to click on the little, what TJ calls a carrot, I guess, but it's the little
carrot
arrow.
guy, like
Yeah,
right
he's
there.
pointing at it there. And don't forget to follow Brandon, right? BXC Woodworks, all right? So check him out, follow him. We'll get to know him a little bit here. So, Brandon, tell us your origin story. How did this all get started?
Well, I've always kind of made things. I grew up skateboarding, and my dad framed houses briefly. And so we were always building ramps and stuff in the backyard. And I liked doing that, but I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I bought my first house in 2015. And like anybody, you know, you start making your own furniture and stuff. Friends and family start asking to buy things, and then you catch the bug, and just here I am, 2023, still doing it, you know?
The bug.
So
do
you do this full time, or
yes, since October. So I quit my full-time job of 8 years. I worked at Ford Motor Company on the assembly line, and I just got fed up with it. I couldn't take it anymore, and I started getting pretty busy to where I could make a stable income doing this. It was a huge pay cut. I'm slowly climbing back up, but yeah, I'm doing it full time, man. It's scary. It's scary and rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, I bet.
That's kind of the hard part. Is I am in a somewhat similar situation. Now I am full time woodworking. Not necessarily by choice this time, but yeah, the first thing everybody
kind of, right?
I was ready for it to happen, but I mean that jump, it's scary. I just hit a point where I guess fate decided it needed to be made for me. So, but yeah, that first thing that everybody asks is, oh, so you have your woodworking, you do that full time? I'm like, yeah, but you don't make nearly as much money as you think you do when you just say you run a woodworking business. Like,
not unless you're large scale, you know, and you have several clients a month. And I mean, then you got to have the workforce to do it.
Right.
It takes me about 2 weeks to turn around a dining table, you know, and that's about 3 weeks worth of pay. 2 to 3 weeks of what it would make, whereas it was a week's worth of pay at my last job, you know. So trying to be quick about it, and then I've got a 2-car garage essentially. So spraying paint, I mean, you got to dedicate time to do that, and while you're painting, you can't do anything else in the shop and make dust. So it's just, you got to plan accordingly to it.
So let me go into this. So for those of you that don't know, me and Brandon live in the same town, and he hasn't been to my shop yet, but I've been to his. And we know a couple of the same people. And so you recently built a shop. So tell us like what your shop situation was before, and then like what brought you to the decision of building a shop, and how has that like changed your process?
Yeah, so me and my wife, we moved into this house about 1.5 years ago. And prior to that, our old house, the house was built in the 20s, and I had a basement shop. And it was pretty much a hand-dug basement, so it was essentially a cellar, you know. And I had some electricity ran down there so I could run tools. But it was not an ideal shop at all. Like, it was L-shaped, so it was really weird. And then when it rained, it would get flooded down there. So I was constantly having to put things up on blocks and whatnot. And then when we bought this house, my wife and I talked, and I was like, the only way I'm getting this house is if I can build a shop. And I built the biggest one I possibly could. This is 22 wide, 24 feet long, and it's got 10-foot ceilings. And I did the SketchUp model and everything for it and found a builder to do it. And they started in July and finished up in October. And I wish I could have got a bigger shop because this one's already full. But I mean, for what I do, project by project, it's just enough room to make it work.
Those high, I have high ceilings also. The high ceilings, I think that's the secret that everybody forgets about, is having the upward space.
Because you can flip dimensional lumber up and not worry about hitting the ceiling, and on top of that, then you get loft storage. So I mean, at the peak of my roof to where my loft is, I got 4.5 feet. So I mean, I'll put all my cutting board scraps up there, and then when it gets full, then I'll go through and batch out 30 or 40 cutting boards and then sell them to whoever, you know. But it's nice having the loft space.
Heck yeah.
So I've been looking through your Instagram. So this is kind of the question that I've been asking, and you've said cutting board several times. So are you team face grain cutting board or are you team end grain cutting board?
I do a lot of edge grain just because the scraps that I get, I work in a couple different shops. I know a lot of y'all are probably familiar with Tyler. He's got the Southern Craftsman. And then I work with a guy named Derek Kaluski. He's got Rework Designs. And anytime somebody gets just throw scraps away, I'm like, I'll take them. And then me building furniture, my cutoffs from that, I'll get a bunch. And I like edge grain because there's where I'm at selling cutting boards. Usually the sweet price point's about $40 to $70. So dedicating that amount of time to an edge grain cutting board, it's not profitable for me at least. And so I like edge grain just because I can glue a whole bunch up, and you can kind of get weird with the patterns if you have thinner cuts versus your wider ones, you know. And maple, cherry, walnut's typically what I make all my cutting boards out of. So the color contrast, you can play around with it and get some good looking boards from it.
Heck yeah. Oh, there he is. Why, hello. Man, TJ, I'm not used to seeing you where you're at down there in the corner.
Yeah, I know. Weird, right? How's
TJ
everyone? Sorry, I'm running late. Little boy just wasn't gonna fall asleep tonight, so.
It happens.
Oh yeah.
Also,
my wife's
if
my
you
daughter to
see
sleep
me
right now.
flailing my arms randomly, I have been attacked by a biblical amount of cluster flies in the workshop. It is truly something I could have never expected, but it's been just the right thing. Somebody says use a cloth on my lens. Oh no, I need to pull this.
Oh yeah.
See, now I should be coming in nice and clear, right?
Oh yeah, the glare is gone. Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. So I had a question for you, Brandon. So you mentioned working for Tyler from the Southern what is it? The Southern Craftsman?
Southern Craftsman.
And then Derek from Rework Design. So
Yeah.
So you have your own shop, but you're also helping some others in their shops as well. How has that experience, like what was your experience with woodworking before you started working with them? And then what have you kind of learned from working with them, and how has that helped you with your own shop?
So before working with Tyler, I worked with Tyler about 2 years ago, and I was still working my other job at Ford. And working with Tyler, he showed me a lot of different joinery methods and just really getting my feet in the door with building fine furniture. So before I was using pocket holes and screws and plugging them with dowels, whereas Tyler, he's cutting a lot of complex joinery and using a domino. And since working with him, I went out and bought a domino, and it's made my life a lot easier. I don't know, I learned a lot from working with him, and that was kind of the thing. I reached out to him and was like, hey, do you need help with anything? You know, I'd like to come in there and watch you work. And he was like, yeah, we worked something out. And I worked with him usually on weekends or when I would get laid off from Ford. And then now when he gets big commercial jobs, he'll reach out to me and be like, hey, do you want to work? And usually by then I'm just doing a lot of milling and glue ups for him. But still, just seeing the whole behind the scenes on the manufacturing side, because he does some pretty big orders. And seeing that just kind of gives me an idea of how I can run things a lot smoother than how I go about it. And then working with Derek, we do a lot of stuff for the bourbon industry, events. We're getting ready to do a lot of stuff for Louder in Life and Bourbon and Beyond. And we work with Rabbit Hole and Jim Beam. And so we do their activations, Jim Beam, their whole facade. We set all that up when we travel around. And then if they need anything built, it's usually more so like a rustic bar type theme, you know, a lot of bourbon barrels, dark reclaimed wood, or make it look reclaimed, you know, and just, it's pretty quickly thrown together. It looks nice and everything, but they use it for one or two events, and then they usually just throw it away, which is crazy to me, but
Wow.
that's how that goes.
I guess when you're a big business like Jim Beam, you got the money to just throw crap away like that.
Oh yeah, it's wild, man.
Man, they should like auction that stuff for charity or something. That's crazy.
The stuff that we're getting ready to do for Bourbon and Beyond and Louder Than Life is really, really cool. I guess Jim Beam's doing a lot of branded content on some tables that look like guitar picks, but it'll be engraved and epoxy filled. And then there's going to be like a shadow box that's going to fit a guitar, so there'll be some bent lamination, and then it'll have glass sitting on top of it.
Nice.
So I'll be doing those 2 builds, which that's going to be pretty fun. But the shadow box, man, that's going to be challenging for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
So wait, you're going to make a guitar pick table that's going to have a guitar inside of it like a game of Operation? Like,
Yes. Yes.
that's cool.
I'm going to try to, at least. I'm pretty confident I can do it. I kind of know how I'm going to lay it out. It's just getting that initial guitar pick shape, because I'll have to make 2 templates, one for the outer ring and one for the inner ring, so I'll have that rabbit around it to sit the glass in. And I got to make 2, so I got to be able to replicate the first one.
As long as the guitar doesn't like fall out the bottom, I mean that's step number 1. That's that's important thing number 1.
Yeah.
Everything else you can kind of work around.
I have complete faith in Brandon. I had a client that does movies. If you guys follow me for a while, you guys have heard me talk about my client that does movies. And she hit me up one day. She wanted this big like judges table made with like a TV embedded in the front of it and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm about to go on. I think I was about to go on vacation or something. And I hit up Brandon and I was like, hey, bro, can you do this? And he's like, I'll do it. And he knocked that shit out in like 3 days. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, delivered, painted, and built, delivered, painted, everything in 3 days, dude.
So you're building judges like stands with TVs embedded in them in 3 days, but you're talking about turning around tables in like 3 weeks. I think you just need to stop playing video games during the day or something.
Yeah, dude. I need to. That's another thing, working from home and for yourself, dude, like setting that strict, like, hey, I'm going to go work. It's like, hey, I'm going to go take a nap for 2-3 hours, then I'll come back to it. So I got to get better about that.
I'm guilty of
Or
that.
at least playing it to where, hey, I'm going to do a glue up real fast. That gives me 2 hours to go inside and take a nap or something,
So
hell yeah.
What's the story on this skateboard table that I'm looking at? It's like a 3-legged table that you've got with glass, and it's got the skateboard trucks on it.
Yes.
Does the glass spin?
It does. I only built the wooden portion for that. The client that I built it for, he seen the idea on Pinterest, and he was like, can you do this? So I kind of played around with it in SketchUp, trying to get all my dimensions right and everything. And then he just mounted the trucks on there with the wheels to where it's a Lazy Susan, essentially, with the glass on top of it.
I keep forgetting that there are some people that may not watch this in a video format. Yeah, it's a table. It's like a 3-pronged table, almost like the little things that come in a pizza box to keep the box from sitting on the cheese.
That's
There you
how I
go.
explained it to people.
And then it's got the skateboard trucks with the wheels and a round piece of glass. Here, I'm talking with my hands like I'm describing it to somebody that can't watch me do it. But the glass and the wheels, they all spin, so the whole thing spins.
Yep.
Creative, man. It's freaking awesome.
It was fun to build, man.
That's one of the things I like the most about like doing custom builds for people is the creativity that comes out of, a customer saying, hey, let's float some ideas. And then even better, just saying like, I give you creative freedom to do what you want. Now, that's not very good for me because I'm not a creative person, but you know what I mean? For some people, it works out.
Well, dude, SketchUp. SketchUp saves my life for that because you can figure out all your dimensions and angles and everything. And if you build it to your model, I mean, all you're doing is just breaking your lumber down, finding your angles, and then putting it together.
You know what? I need to come hang out at your shop more because I suck at SketchUp.
Dude, Chris Salamone at 4 Hours Furniture. I watched his tutorials, and that's really how I learned SketchUp.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty good, like, well in depth tutorials for it.
Nice.
Really, it's finding the shortcuts too. If you can figure out the shortcuts and like how you can copy and paste and duplicate and drag stuff around, it makes it so much easier than individually scrolling over, clicking the tool you want, then doing what you got to do.
Yeah. So TJ, do we got any questions?
Yeah. So I have been wondering about what happened at Maker Camp.
Maker Camp hasn't happened yet. Workbench Con.
Yeah, that's the one, Workbench Con. You guys, who are you people? Where's my horse? I've been in a dark room with a 2-year-old for like the last 2.5 hours, so you have to excuse me. But tell us a little bit about your Workbench Con experience.
It was awesome. It was my first year. It was a little overwhelming at first, just because I seen people that I watch on YouTube and everything, but they have no clue who I am. So I was kind of worried about walking up to them and talking to them. But after I did it, everybody's super friendly and like encouraging to have conversations with you, you know? So that was cool. A lot of the classes, I got a lot of good information from them, but it was kind of information overload. So I took a lot of notes, and a lot of people who had talks and stuff posted their classes on YouTube, so you can go back and rewatch them. But I was implementing it all into like my everyday life now, and trying to get better about the content creating stuff. It slows me down pulling a camera out, and I know I need to do more of it, but I don't know. Hopefully in the future I'll get better about it.
That's the part of social media woodworking. For like a year there, I was a little bit more present on social media, and now I'm not so much. And it's exactly that kind of drew me away from it, was the setting up a camera to do. It just slows me down and it annoys the crap out of me. So
it's so crazy because when I got on social media like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, not many people was posting to YouTube unless it was like long-term format.
Right.
Everything on Instagram and Facebook was pictures. So like that's what's burnt into my brain is like before and after results, you know, and just like in the process pictures. And so that's like burnt in my brain on how to go about everything, where it's like, hey, you need to film this. And it's not even time lapses anymore. Like you got to be creative about your angles and your cuts and everything to stay relevant, man. And I need to get with the times, but at the same time, I'm so stuck in my ways that I'm just like, I don't know, man.
You got to be like a professional filmographer, you know. Yeah. You got to know what you're doing, lighting and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy.
Now, when I have shot videos using CapCut, it's like a free app for those of you who don't know what it is. It's awesome. There's a lot of templates and stuff you can go off with it, and it makes you seem like you know what you're doing, but you fake it till you make it. You know?
That's it. That's what it's all about.
I love CapCut so much. That's
great.
why I do all of my stuff in. Just it's cool because it lets you pull the background out of stuff. So like all of the promo stuff, I put that all together in CapCut.
Oh, nice.
I don't even know what that is. In the past,
so growing up skateboarding, we used a thing called Sony Vegas to like shoot all of our videos that we was making, and that was way more in depth on like, I guess it's kind of like Premiere, I guess you can compare it to, but CapCut just simplifies everything.
Nice.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your past life and your skateboarding mischief?
Oh, man.
Next question, is it a past life, or do you secretly yearn to make like a 3-foot mini pipe in the backyard?
Dude, all right, so going on 4 years ago, I had brain surgery. So I have a metal plate on this side of my head. And that wasn't due to skateboarding. That was other incidences. And then a year after I had my brain surgery, I broke my wrist skateboarding. And so I hadn't been on a board in so long. I'm 30 years old now. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to go buy a skateboard and go to the skate park. She was like, don't do it. You're going to get hurt. I was like, no, I'm not, you know. I was at the skate park for 10 minutes and fell and broke my wrist. The very next day, I sold the skateboard that I bought the day before and was like, I haven't been on a skateboard since then.
I mean, broken bones is like is the pastime of skateboarding, isn't it?
Oh, dude, I got a titanium rod all the way up to here in my wrist now. This is my dominant hand. So it's just, I miss skateboarding because that was my life. Like, that's what I did before I was a woodworker. I was a skateboarder. And now that I don't skateboard anymore, I still enjoy watching it, and I still get that bug like, hey, I'm gonna go buy a skateboard, and just keep it casual. But I'm getting too old to do it now. I can't do it. My body don't move like that anymore.
I mean, there's two things you can guarantee. One, you're not going to break that wrist again. You have a rod in there, so you're good there. And if you hit your head, there's a plate in there, so you're extra good there. So
that's a built-in helmet.
That's
People pay extra for that.
It's an add-on,
Oh, 100%.
This isn't going to help with your staying focused on working throughout the day, but they've repackaged Tony Hawk Pro Skater into you get the first 3 and remastered the whole thing. So if you play video games, that's
so do they redo the graphics, or is it the
Yeah.
same original graphics?
No, they remastered everything.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to check that out.
Dude,
I
put some hours in
Tony
that.
Hawk 1 and 2, but on PS5 hardware sounds kind of rad.
That does sound pretty cool.
I'm gonna need a PS5. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I hope you're happy
Hey,
with
honey,
yourself, Brayden. That's there goes a month of my life.
Hey, honey, I just went and bought a PS5 so I could play a video game from 23 years ago.
Yeah. At least it's not a tool. If your wife is mad at you because you're always bringing home new tools, bring home a PS5.
It's
And
for
then
the
saying.
kids. It's for the kids.
That's it.
That
that
would
work?
make more sense to her. She could justify that amount of money. But I just bought a 8-inch Powermatic joiner head, and she was like, $2,700. I bought it used, and she was like, why do you need that? And I was just like, you don't understand. I can't really explain it to you, but it's gonna make my life a lot easier. Because I had a old Delta 6-inch with straight knives, and I think the beds were 4 feet maybe, and I was milling 8-foot long stock on it, dude, with roller stands, and it sucked.
Making it work.
Oh, you got to. You got to.
That 2 inches makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It really does, though. It really does.
I still can't.
So Tyler's got a 12-inch Powermatic in his shop.
Yeah.
And anytime I work in his shop, using his tools and then coming back to my shop, I'm like, I have nice stuff, but I'm like, God, that is nice,
Yeah. He's also got the 20-inch Powermatic and right? He's got a 20-inch planer, right?
15.
Oh, he's got the 15.
Yeah,
And
but he's got a 36-inch
wide belt
drum sander.
Yeah. Yeah. He invested big time, big business money into that crap.
Oh, 100%.
And
yeah.
he has the room for it. Well, more room than you have in yours, at least. You know what I mean?
Way more room.
Yeah. So, Maker Camp coming up. So, you're going to Maker Camp, right? Right?
Yes,
right?
I'm going. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get from the airport to actual Maker Camp.
I told you already. So, Brandon is going to be bunking with me and Jeff from Maker's Way and Zach from Double K. So the 4 of us are going to be sharing a camper. And but I told you, if you fly into Newark, then me and Jeff are going to be in Manhattan a couple days prior, so we could pick you up from Newark and you'll just ride with us to Maker Camp. Or you could fly into Syracuse and then Zach can pick you up when he comes that way because he passes by Syracuse or through Syracuse to get to Maker Camp.
Okay.
So you're good.
Sweet.
Good.
So coming home.
That's a whole different story.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Isn't there a train or something that you can take to get from where Maker Camp is back
You're
to the airport?
crazy. Maker Camp's in the middle of nowhere, bro.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, because it's a 2.5-hour drive from the airport that I was looking at to get to Maker Camp, and I was like, dude, that's freaking wild.
Yeah. So for anybody that's on here, there is a group chat right now going on in IG with people that are going to Maker Camp and people that need rides back and forth, who's going where so you could ride together, who maybe need a bunk mate, all that stuff's going on. So, if you need to jump into that group chat, just DM me or Brandon's in it too. Brayden, are you in that chat?
Yeah.
Okay. TJ's not going, so I don't think you're in it, right?
No,
Yeah.
got little kids.
Yeah. So just hit us up. We throw you in that group chat if you got, questions about rides to and from airports and all that crap.
Sweet.
Heck yeah. What are you looking forward to with Maker Camp?
Dude, I want to look at the blacksmithing stuff, man. I've always been so interested in that. And, like, I've tried to make a forge in my backyard before many years ago, and it just didn't work out, and so I gave up on the idea of it. But it'd be cool just to see the whole process from it, man.
I'm kind of curious about the details of trying to make this forge in your backyard. Can you explain this? Because I'm imagining, like, some kind of, marshmallow roasting little campfire over there, and you're
100%. So I had pretty much the landscape block fire pit, and I took a still leaf blower and put a zip tie on the trigger and had it pointed towards the fire to get the coals real hot. And then I had my vise, which has got probably a 4-inch by 4-inch flat plate on the top of it. So I was heating up rebar and just getting it glowing hot and just smacking the crap out of it, dude, with like a framing hammer. And it was not working,
It's so funny.
Yeah, but think of all the things that you
know?
learned from how not to do that, right?
100%.
Right? And with your newly honed skills, and then after Maker Camp, you're going to come back being able to stick weld, right? And all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited just to see all the different mediums people work with and everything.
I think that's my one thing that I have to focus on this time around to Maker Camp. This will be my second time. The first time, I did nothing metal. I only did wood stuff, and I stuck to that freaking pen lathe I made a lot of pens.
Really?
Let me just tell you. I was stuck there. I was so obsessed with making pens. But I told myself, and I think Jeff and Zach said the same thing. This time around, we need to just do metal stuff because we did all the wood stuff.
Yeah, it'd be nice, man. It'd be a cool thing to pair with my cutting boards if I could learn any type of blacksmithing, is to offer nice knives to go along with them.
Heck yeah.
So we've got some questions that are all piling up that we should be smart and get through a couple of them at least. What has been your biggest challenge as a maker?
Finding clients, and I don't mean this in a mean way, is finding clients that are willing to pay for quality made furniture. That's been the hardest thing for me, and a lot of it's the way that I target my audience for marketing and everything, because I just post on Facebook Marketplace or make something brick and mortars. Well, one now, and then we got a booth at a flea market. It's just finding that person that's worth it. And I do a CAD model for everything that I build before I even give them a price, and that takes a few hours. So say I do that, and then I invest 3 hours, get the materials, give them their price, and they're like, oh, that's too expensive. I was looking to spend $500 on it. Well, how much are you wanting to spend, But I also feel like it's kind of rude in a way to ask somebody, because a lot of people who are buying higher end furniture, I guess they don't really know. I guess they're not educated on what really goes into making something like that.
That's a hard thing, I think. Asking people, sales can be an uncomfortable thing, and unfortunately, when you're a woodworker that makes custom furniture for clients, sales is something that unfortunately we're in. So I, especially around this area, it's hard. This area is hard. Like the Kentucky area, there's so many flea markets and peddlers malls and all these little knick-knack type stores that people are always looking for that best price they could find somewhere. Where's my cheap stuff at? So
See, a lot of selling on Facebook, a lot of the people are still doing your pocket hole, pine, stain, paint tables. And so I just did a farmhouse table. It was a trestle style table. It had an ash top and a maple base. And it looks like the pine tables, but the quality of it is 10 times better. There's no pocket holes. Everything's Morrison tenon with a domino. And the guy knew what he was getting into whenever we talked about it. And so I sold that deal. It worked out in me. But if I were to take that same picture of that finished product and put it on Facebook Marketplace, people are going to think they're going to get it for $700 or $800, and I have more than that in just lumber for that. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's a hard.
Do you have a
thing.
favorite lumber yard that you're working with? I'm asking this question not from the ones down there because, yet again, I can't see them. So,
Yeah. So I use Roger Bone Steel. He's got bone steel molding and millwork or something.
Yeah, that's right.
If you type in Bone Steel Sawmill, it'll come up if you're within the area. He's out of Sellersburg. And then I use another guy. His name's just Mike Jenkins. That's his sawmill is Mike Jenkins Sawmill. He sells 8-quarter walnut kiln dried for $3 a board foot.
I'm
But
sorry,
Dude,
what?
You didn't tell me this.
That's my honey hole, man. That's my honey hole. He gets yard trees, so like sometimes it's not top quality, and he also like you can't go there looking for walnut. You got to call him and be like, "Hey, Mike, do you have any walnut?" He's like, "No, I got this, this, and this," and then you can justify it. So he's not really a big supplier. He's kind of a guy that's just a hobbyist sawyer and does his thing with it. But he's got a whole kiln. He's got a big wood miser. Sawmill, and it's all inside of a barn. It's nice. You can pull up to it and pull through the barn and come out the back and get right back on the road.
Shoot, at that price, it might be worth me hooking up a trailer and just driving down there and loading up.
yeah, you can make a pit stop in St. Louis on your way, bud.
There we go.
I think he's probably raised his prices by now because it's been a little while since I bought from him. But I kept telling him, I was like, dude, you can still double your prices and be cheaper than anybody around you. And he's just like, I know, I just like doing this, man. Like, he retired, and he's a maker, too. He builds furniture and stuff for himself. He don't sell anything. And so he just mills his own lumber and started selling it. And I'm just like, dude, if only. If only you had everything I need whenever I need it.
I've talked to some people. There's a couple places in our area here where people sell, it's green lumber, so it's not dried. But like they'll sell massive quantities of walnut, anything domestic, and they're selling it at like $1.50 a board foot. So like if you got somewhere to store it to dry, or you have a kiln you could bring it to dry it out, like getting a trailer and coming down to this neck of the woods and loading up is definitely a thing.
Dude, like there's a person out of E-Town, dude. They sell like seconds. I guess it's B grade, B stock of walnut, $1 a linear foot. And it's just sitting out in the sun with a tarp on it. So, I mean, it dries eventually, you know? I think it's
Is that Joanne?
Yes.
Joanne, I think her name?
Yeah, I think
I've been there.
Like that.
They have just piles and piles and piles of domestic lumber cut up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's wild. Plus Barnwood, I mean, they've got so much stuff all the time.
I might be getting into reselling lumber to people. Now my gears are turning.
Dude, there's ways to make money, man.
I've thought of that.
To make money.
You can come have an Alaskan mill party with me, man. It'll be a hoot and a half.
Do you have an Alaskan mill?
Yes, sir. 92 cc's of fury and the finest Chinesium frame to hold it, man. I'm telling you.
Nice. I want to get one, dude. I just don't have the machinery to move big logs around or anything.
Yeah, no, I've got I just recently upgraded my Harbor Freight winch on a trailer hitch plate. And so I've got a double-decker hitch receiver, and the trailer goes on the bottom, and the winch goes on the top. And then you just yank logs onto a 4x8 trailer. That or, again, because I'm a turner, I don't really need long stock and slabs, and by the time you get them cut, and I got burly friends, we'll just stack them on trailer.
Nice.
Yeah. There is a question in the chat that I just wanted to ask. I don't know if it's in the question box, but it's from Steve at Making at Home, and he wants to know, if you could only build one type of project, what would it be?
Me?
Yeah.
A schoolie, dude. I want to do a school bus conversion so bad.
Really?
So bad. It's just I don't have the space or the money for a school bus, and I have no clue about anything else with going along with it. I could do the framing and the build out of it, but the plumbing and the electric and all that, dude, I'd be so lost.
Yeah, and I've been actually shopping for school buses on the marketplace here in St. Louis and rural Missouri.
Of course
You can get of course I have. No, perfectly reasonable school buses are like $4,000, right?
And get on a government auction site for the school program, dude, and you can find them. You can find them decent, and they keep them serviced. You know, they're just high mileage.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think about it because like I can do enough plumbing to not ruin a bathroom, and I'm pretty handy with wiring, right? And a handful of big batteries and inverters is like you can have 32 foot of recreational vehicle at your disposal for like 50 grand. And the 32 foot RV, granted, it would like have slides and all kinds of whiz bangs in it, but like they're like 200 grand to get you a big old Class A, which is what Ed drives around in because he's fancy.
Listen,
No way.
If you get strong enough soft close drawer slides, you too could have slide outs in your schoolie.
It just takes 60 of them on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to get your schoolie build sponsored by Blum.
That's so funny.
That'd be awesome.
But no, I'm for it, man. You want to collab on a schoolie, you let me know, buddy. I'll be there with bells on. I'm going to have to bring 2 kids under 5 years old to do it, but we'll figure it out, man.
Hey, dude, I gotta. She'll be 2 in November. I got a little girl. It'll be all good, dude. I'll have a blast.
All right, I'll bring mine. I'm all in for a school bus build also. The kids will all just watch each other. A month before Workbench Con, my brother, he wanted to move into a school bus. We flew to Atlanta to go look at a school bus, and he'd asked all the right questions, and it looked good, and it was, you know, a little bit more on the expensive side. This guy was flipping buses, but it was a 7.3. I knew how to work on that, and the top end had just been rebuilt. And the guy said, hey, it smokes a little bit. It's a 20-year-old engine, so we just assumed it smokes like a diesel. What he didn't tell us is, so we fly there
Smoke
like 2 days
inside.
after. No, it's so much worse than that. So we get there, we get to Atlanta, we Uber like an hour and a half outside of Atlanta into like bum F, like hillbilly nowhere.
Like the Walking Dead area. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We kept seeing signs for cowboy churches, and we weren't really sure if that was a strip joint or if that was an actual church or just a restaurant, or we didn't know. But so we get there, we meet the guy, we take it for a test drive, and when he said it smoked a little, it wouldn't smoke when you were stopped, but when you would start, it would literally like James Bond smoke screen the entire street behind you. Like,
Bros,
it was
rolling coal
bad.
in a school bus.
It was
Hell yeah.
bad.
Was oil leaking on the exhaust?
So we get there, we park it after taking it, you know, for a drive, and we start looking around, and like I get into the engine compartment, I look, and there's no oil. Like, it's super clean, it's a really nice engine. And so we start walking around, and I look, there's literally oil, not dripping, running out of the tailpipe. There's
Oh my God.
so much oil that it was making it 20 feet through the exhaust, and there was still unburnt oil just pouring out.
That's
And we told-
crazy.
So we figured there was a bad seal on the turbo side, which I told him, hey, let's get it. We'll get it home, but this guy's got to cut us a deal. This guy made this big thing about like, oh, I pride myself at finding the right bus for the right person, and maybe you're not the right person. I think he just thought we wouldn't fly back to Nebraska after flying out to Atlanta without a bus. But that's my bus story.
That's wild, man. Before I met my wife, I wanted to do the whole schoolie thing and just get job site tools with batteries and everything. You know, if I got a nice little table saw, miter saw, and then just like a hand plane, dude. I was like, I'm gonna make cutting boards and sell them on the road, dude, and just go see the U.S. You know, because really all you gotta do is pay for gas and food at that point.
He said, "I'm gonna
Like-
make cutting boards on the road, baby." Yeah.
He's going to get a
And,
George Foreman and a folding table, and he's about to sell grilled cheeses and smiling cutting
everything.
boards. Oh, yeah.
Parks and everything, and I was like, what other ways am I going to do it? But my mom was like, don't do that, that's a dumb idea. So here I am, I didn't do it, but I thought it was cool in my head.
Man, I could just see you driving down the interstate, and you got your CNC, your desktop CNC running in the back, and the next table over is like your X-Tool freaking lasers going while you're driving down the road.
Dude, all you gotta do is clamp everything down real good, you know, and hope for the best.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
clamp.
hoping, bro, on a school bus suspension.
He didn't say bolt anything down. He said clamp that shit down.
Every carbon laser has like a little jump point. Just looks a little stuttery.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that that's something that I think we should get a bunch of makers in on, and we should build a rolling shop.
A traveling
I feel like it'd be cool,
makerspace.
man.
Yeah.
All you got to do is build a little hot dog stand into the side of it so that when you stop, you can buy gas selling hot dogs and cutting boards.
So they had a traveling makerspace bus at Maker Camp last year.
Nice. I'd love to see that, man.
It might be there this year again. I'm not sure.
All right. What's your favorite wood to work with? Dry.
That's such a loaded question because everything I feel like has its own application. I like spalted maple. Spalted maple is my favorite. Not to work with because it always mills really weird, and you got to look out for rot. But if you can find some good, clean spalted maple, man, I love it.
I can see the questions, Braden. So who on IG is your go-to person you enjoy to watch and like to keep up with on their stories and reels?
Johnny Brook, Crafted Workshop. He does a lot of cool stuff, man, and he's always got a lot of content.
Heck yeah.
I can't see the questions, guys, so you're kind of on your own up there.
I know, but you can make up your own.
I can. So, what got you into spalted wood?
Honestly, so the guy Mike I was telling you all about, he had a bunch of maple, and I called him up needing maple, and he was like, yeah, I've got some. He didn't know it was called spalting or anything. He was just like, yeah, I've got some, but it's got some weird stuff going on with it. And he was selling it $1 a board foot for 8/4 kiln dry. So I went up there and bought like 300 board feet of it, and it all had spalting in it. And I just started playing around with it in my cutting boards and stuff, man. And it just, like, one little piece was enough in an accent and a cutting board to, like, justify not putting a lot of different woods in there, you know? It was like walnut and then maybe a small strip of cherry, a small strip of the spalted maple, cherry, and then walnut, dude. And it stood out because it was so different. But yeah, that was my introduction to it.
Very cool.
Where do you want to see your business in 5 years?
5 years. It's so weird because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my business. Since I've only been doing it for a year full time, I'd like to get into the custom furniture side of it. But trim, dude, I love doing trim. There's a lot less thinking about it, really. You just got to take accurate measurements and find your angles. Plus, I don't have to paint or stain or finish anything. I'll leave that up to whoever's going to do it after me. But there's a guy, I want to say he's out of Tennessee, Walker and Wood. He does a lot of built-ins and just cabinetry, and he does dining tables and bar tops and stuff. But, dude, I love what he's doing. If I could model my business after him in any way, that'd be pretty cool. So I think I'd like to more so get into, the nicer high-end trim.
You know what we need to do, Brandon, is I think maybe me and you need to take a trip to Lexington to go visit Ronnie Fulton from Fulton Builds or Fulton Workshop. He has basically a remodeling business, and
Nice.
he does a lot of high-end trim work, like a ton. and he has a Sprinter van that is completely loaded out for doing all home remodeling stuff straight out of his van. So we should go down there and visit him. I think
Dude,
I think you'd.
I'd be down, man. I'd be down. I watch a lot of trim carpenters. I don't know if y'all are familiar with who Mike Farrington is, but I want to say he's from out west somewhere. Dude, he builds some crazy stuff. It's just so perfect, you know? Like, there's no need for filler or anything. Like, all his miters, and he coats everything, and it's craftsmanship, man. It's not like some run-of-the-mill guys slapping cord around and caulking everything. It's nice work.
But
yeah.
Whoa.
But if you're not using caulk on all of your miters and hiding everything, are you really going as fast as you could?
Colorado.
Oh, not at all, dude. Caulk and paint makes you the carpenter you ain't, man.
There you go.
Kevin says Mike's in Colorado.
Yeah, I knew he was from out west somewhere, but I couldn't think of it where.
All right. Here's another question. How do you time management your projects and shop time? I think that's one I need. I'm interested in that answer.
I don't, man. It's frick. I figure. So, I mean, a dining table, I try to give myself like 2 weeks, you know, and I try not to work weekends. Usually, It's so weird because I'm terrible at time management. I work at night a lot too, so after my daughter goes to sleep, me and my wife take turns on like who puts our daughter to bed every other night. And so if I put my daughter to bed, I'll come out to the shop around 10 and I'll stay out here till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning working. And then I'll get up at 8, and if I'm working at somebody else's shop, you know, I'll work there till about 3 or 4. Come home, hang out with my little girl, hang out with my wife, eat dinner, you know, put the kid to bed, then I come out to my shop. So I guess I'm working pretty much 2 almost full-time jobs between working in other people's shops and doing my stuff. I'd like to have set hours though, to where it's like, hey, I work 9 to 5. I don't work weekends, and this is what you get. But it's really hard to like. There's always complications with something, you know. Say you're spraying paint and a fly lands on it, you know, and gets stuck, and he swirls around in it, and now you got to sand that whole coat of paint off and redo it again, you know. And say you quoted them for an 8-day turnaround, and now you're 12 days in.
Yeah. Things get a little hairy, especially when you share your finishing room with your shop.
Yeah, dude, I recently like made a makeshift spray booth. I just took EMT conduit and like those snap-on shower curtains and bought really big drop cloths, and I just keep them hung up. And so whenever I need to spray, I just pull them out, and it makes a full box. I put one down on the floor and keep a fan and dehumidifier in there. So for not having a spray booth, I mean, it's pretty much a spray booth at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I did something kind of similar in my basement too. I took it out of my shop though, so that way I don't have to worry about not working in here when I have something finishing in there.
If I can paint outside, I will, but our weather here has been terrible. I won't spray finish outside though.
Oh man, Tyler does that a lot. And so does Derek. Derek does that a lot too.
Dude, Derek's got a paint booth, man, but everything gets painted outside for the most part.
I was going to say, every time I've been to his shop, he's got the sawhorses set up, and he's just got, like, doors just laying out there. He's just spraying. I'm like, dude.
The only bad thing about Derek's spray booth is there's 2 huge pillars right in the middle of it. So you've got to, like, it pretty much splits it up into 2 different sides, you know, and then, like, the middle is where you get to the other 2 pieces you're finishing.
Yeah, that's shitty. Did you see what Kevin said? He said, I just call the fly a custom add-on and charge more.
Nice. I hate the flies, dude. I hate when bugs get in my finish.
I have a question. It's not on here, I don't think. But, like, what advice would you have to somebody starting woodworking today? They want to start woodworking and making something. What advice would you give to them?
Don't go out and buy every tool you think you'll need to be a woodworker, you know. Buy tools as they're necessary for the job. I see a lot of people buying like benchtop joiners, and then like a year later, you see them selling it on Facebook or Instagram or anything else. It's just, if you're gonna spend the money on a tool that you need, try to save up and buy something new that you can grow into rather than grow out of, or find something new or find something nice that's used. I bought my saw stop used. I bought my joiner used.
Yep.
My bandsaws, everything in my shop's new. The only thing brand new that I bought was my miter saw, my planer, and my drum sander.
Which
Heck yeah.
which drum sander do you have?
I have the Jet 18 by 36.
Yeah. TJ, you got anything? We're about 5 minutes out.
I was going to say we're about 5 minutes away. We've asked for a piece of advice. I suppose on that same note, normally I like to ask our guests to give us a small motivational speech to get all of our friends in the audience to kick open their shop doors, get out there, make a mess, get crazy. What do you got for us?
You're the only person holding yourself back. If you want to do something, go do it. You know, if you want to build something, if you want to learn something, if you're on a time restraint and you're anxious about it, you're the only person keeping yourself from doing any of that.
I am
Just get over
my own biggest hurdle.
Yeah,
I'm also my own biggest fan, so I got that going for me.
There you go.
So you are your own biggest hurdle, and also the Illuminati. The Illuminati are.
That's funny.
And the algorithm.
We don't talk about the algorithm.
No, hey, touching your earpiece there, Ed. Nice.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. They heard us. So, Braden, do you want to tell everybody? Was there a winner for the Surf Prep package?
Yeah. So we announced the winner to the Surf Prep sanding kit or sanding system giveaway that Surf Prep did for us. It was a guy who goes by Brandon Does Nothing, which doesn't apply anymore. He has to do something. But it turns out he is a vet, and he and his wife actually have another account where they refinish tons of furniture. So I'll probably have to find out what that account is. But he sent some pictures, and they were pretty freaking sweet. So we really appreciated Surf Prep giving away a sanding system. That was sweet. I just got mine, and I've never enjoyed sanding more than I do right now. So
I'm very jealous, by the way.
I've seen those at Workbench Con, dude. They look so nice.
It's solid. I mean, it's a really cool sander. I got the dust extractor because I'm trying to shift my shop to have less dust in it. So hopefully this helps.
Good luck.
You and anybody else, if you want, you can use code Sawdust Talk at surfprepsanding.com, and you can save 10% or more. No, it's just 10%. It's not more.
10% or less.
But yeah, it's pretty sweet. You know, I've been kicking around what sander to get for a while. So.
Heck yeah. So, we might see them, Brandon, around our area, because I am currently attempting to get some Surf Prep products in our Woodcraft. So I'm working on it. I'm trying. So we'll see what comes of that. Hopefully we get my goal is to get the. Oh yeah, I see the circle. Is that just on him or is that on me too?
No,
Just
him. I can see everybody.
Oh yeah, we can kind of hear you sounding like a robot.
It's like his CB radio's busted.
Yeah.
I just aged myself.
I'm trying to get the 3x4 array and some accessories for that into the Woodcraft. So you might see some at our Woodcraft. I'll let you know if we get some in.
Yeah, definitely, man. That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, we are coming up on our hour. So, Brandon, thanks for joining us. It was cool getting to know you. So, hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. Definitely, man. Thanks for having me, you all.
Don't forget to follow Brandon, BXC Woodworks.
Yep, right here. Click the little carrot. You can follow everybody that's on the show. Also, thank you again to George Supply Co. and Surf Prep. who sponsor Sawdust Talk. And also, if you want to listen to episodes and you don't want to watch them on Instagram because it is awful at audio stuff, you can go to any of the podcast apps. We're on all of them. So,
Sweet.
guys, have a good night.
Hey, you too. Y'all take care.